Chapter 1. Bill Brady is a circus trainer. Only with guinea pigs, not lions. That's what everyone in my class says, but it's not true. I should know. I am Bill Brady. This is how it started. One day at school, Jimmy Frake was boasting that he'd read a book with 100 pages in it. Then Dan Potter said he was the greatest swimmer ever. Next, Ellen Carr went on and on about galloping on her pony. Then they all looked at me, like they were waiting. So quick as a flash, I made up a story in my head about next door's guinea pig. It's called Stinky, by the way. And next thing, this came out of my mouth. I'm training my guinea pig for the animals tricks competition. Well, you should have seen Ellen Carr's eyebrows. They shot right up to her hairband. Bet there's no such thing, said Dan Potter, sounding like a big know-all. I just shrugged and said, oh no? That made me feel super cool. But only for a moment, because Jimmy Frake suddenly said, prove it. And loads of people were crowding round, all saying, prove it, Bill. Prove it. Chapter 2. I didn't make it up about Stinky. He really can do tricks. Well, one trick anyway. I've seen him from my bedroom window. He jumps over yellow things like buttercups and dandelions. On the way home from school, I worked out a brilliant plan. First, I had to borrow Stinky from Mrs. Buss, his owner. So I went round to her house. This was our conversation. Me. Can Stinky come out to play, please? Mrs. Buss, laughing her head off. But he's a guinea pig. Then she looked at what I was holding and laughed even more. Bricks! Is that what you two are going to play with? Me, still polite. Would you like me to clean him out? Mrs. Buss. Super, thank you, Bill. I cleaned out Stinky's cage double quick, then began his training. First, I fixed 10 yellow bricks in a line and put them on the grass in front of him. Right, jump over these, Stinky. He didn't move. So I did a few jumps over the bricks myself to show him. It didn't work, he just turned his back. That's very rude, I told him sternly. Squeak, he replied. You're hopeless, I said. Squeak, he replied. Chapter 3. I went round to Mrs. Buss's to train Stinky every day after school. By the 5th day, he could climb up 20 yellow brick steps, walk along a yellow brick bridge, and climb down the other side. By the 10th day, he managed to wiggle his bottom in and out of 15 yellow brick posts and jump over a bridge. Fantastic, cried Mrs. Buss, clapping and clapping. Yes, I agreed, feeling over the moon. I think Mr. Stinky is ready for school. First, I had to ask Miss Tate, the teacher, if I was allowed to bring a guinea pig into class. He could do brilliant tricks, I informed her in front of the whole class. What fun, cried Miss Tate, clasping her hands together. I heard Dan sniggering, but I didn't mind. In fact, I couldn't wait to see the look on his face when he saw what a great trainer I was. Chapter 4. Right, everybody, nice and quiet, please, said Miss Tate. We don't want to frighten, what's his name? Tricky, I replied, because I didn't want anyone laughing at Stinky. I only wanted oohs and ahs and claps. I set up the yellow brick steps and the bridge and the posts, and I felt so excited at that moment I could have burst. When everything was ready, I took Stinky out of his box and put him down beside the bridge. Off you go, Tricky. But all he did was squeak and sit on his bottom. Go on, I said firmly, but all he did was wriggle. Hurry up, I said loudly. but all he did was grunt. "Get on with it, Stinky," I said crossly. And he waddled off, leaving a big pile of brown poo right in the middle of the classroom floor. That made the whole class laugh, including Miss Tate. Me, I went as red as a dollop of tomato ketchup. Chapter 5. Miss Tate called me up to the front when it was nearly home time. "You have been wearing that scowl all afternoon, Bill," she said. "I know, I'm cross," I replied. "Maybe Tricky didn't feel like performing today," she said. "But no one believes that he really can do it," I said grumpily. Miss Tate frowned. "Can he really, Bill?" "Yes." "And are you entering him for the animal tricks competition you told Dan and the others about?" went on Miss Tate. My face felt hot enough to cook a fried egg on. Miss Tate was going to tell me off now for making things up. "It's just that I was wondering," she went on, "if you could give me the details. You see, my friend has got a guinea pig. I'm sure she'd like to enter him. He's very talented." "What's his name?" I asked in a little voice. "Stinky," she replied. Uh-oh, I thought. But then I turned at the sound of gasps, and this is what I saw. Stinky had come out of his box and was balancing on his hind legs on the top of Dan Potter's yellow football. I tell you, I've never heard so many oohs and ahs. It was brilliant. And as everyone clapped and clapped, a big arc of yellow wee came spraying out of Stinky and onto the floor. "How did you get him to do that?" asked Jimmy Frape, his eyes all big and round. Then Ellen cried, "Because Bill Brady is a circus trainer, only with guinea pigs, not lions." And I smiled to myself. This time, it was true.